Hopefully this stupid fucking thing works. This time the headset's being the gay set or some shit set. I needed to kill an hour worth of time, so I was gonna go live about something, but then I was like, damn, man, my Diana might kill me, so I'll kind of put that off for now, you know. Well, let's see if anybody shows up first. It don't make no difference. This one's just like I'm not gonna say it's a throwaway episode. It's just one of Charles's fucking weird theory. Well, not one, like multiple theories that really aren't what I feel happened in specific crimes or involving specific killers, etc. But I don't know. It's just food for thought. Gotta wait till people show up and make sure this audio is working properly. Well, that was quick. Troll, friend or foe? Trolls or losers? Wonder. Whoever that is, does the audio sound okay or what? Basically, I needed to kill an hour of time and I was bored. Boom, 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 boom. Why don't we open up the panel too? We'll do that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, at least we'll pretend to do it. It's weirdo fucking trolls will pop up. They pop up. Sweet. Thanks, John. I don't know. Some of y'all might have heard some of these before or whatever because I mention them from time to time. It's really not even what I. Well, it depends on the crime itself, but it's just like random shit or whatever that. What are you talking about? I would never do such a thing. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's not really even what I believe at all. It's just things about specific famous crimes or infamous crimes or whatever that just don't make any fucking sense to me. And more weird coincidences and all kinds of stuff. You guys are getting out. Now, which one should I start with? Start with. Well, I guess I'll give it another minute or two because I don't know. Like I said, I needed to kill an hour's worth of time because Dave's coming on at one, and you know me, I just love to hear the sound of my own voice. So apparently, I thought, hey, why not? I could kill a fucking hour by coming on here. Give it about 5 more minutes, see if more people show up, and then I'll start with it. Because I got like, okay, one theory isn't mine. It's actually the theory of a police detective, but honestly, the majority of people think he's just jumping the shark. What's up, Carol? But yeah, it was this weird ass theory that was going around for a while there, and I guess the guy that the theory was about was kind of feeding into it and stuff. But in all actuality, there's some weird facts about this guy that kind of lead me to believe that I mean, yeah, there's a possible chance that he's zodiac, basically. He's not the person I would call zodiac, but you know, it's just some weird coincidences that make me go, "What? That's odd." And then, yeah, I got a weird theory when it comes to zodiac, which is a whole another one that involves something odd about the victimology and everything else. And like I said, some of these are just my weird, crazy ass theories. Most people think I'm like pro state or this, that, and the other. No, 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 no. Trust me, after these theories I throw out here tonight, the ones that are mine, I mean, shit. If I was pro state, I wouldn't be saying none of this bullshit. But yeah, Should I start with that one? I guess. Yeah, I guess it's the only set alone theory of them all. So really, it doesn't affect too much if I just go ahead and say it first. I was gonna do some weird thing where I said some stuff about Richard Allen, but then Diana caught me and she was like, mm "Only if I tell you it's okay." And I'm like, "Fine, Mom." God, 'cause apparently I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. But Miss Diana will kick my ass. What's up? Who's up? But yeah, like these are just I don't know random weird fucking thoughts that goes has gone through the mind of Charles over a long period of time. Yeah, might as well just fucking. What's up, seafood? But yeah, the first one's gonna kind of annoy the fuck out of everybody. Oh, probably would. Um, I kind of still do, but I came up with this theory a long time ago that maybe the taxi driver in the Zodiac murders was maybe involved in the actual murders themselves because of the distinct change in victimology and killer's MO and all that other good shit. And the fact that if you look up Paul Stein, who is the taxi driver, he sure as fuck looks a hell of a lot like the sketch and all of that shit of the stuff that they drew for the Zodiac. Oddly enough, plus, like I said, it's just weird out of nowhere that Zodiac goes from a lover's lane, a scorn lover kind of serial killer, and then all of a sudden just takes out this single fucking taxi driver. I mean, yeah, he could be devolving or evolving or all kinds of different shit, but something about it just doesn't seem right about it to me. I knew she'd sneak up in this motherfucker. But yeah, I mean, if you look at Paul Stein himself and the actual picture of the victim and all that, he does look. He's got the whole fucking Dahmer glasses and shit going on, the whole 9 yards. He doesn't match with the other victims, which were all couples on lovers' lanes that were making out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. As if you don't count the library girl as a Zodiac victim, which I don't. At least not at the moment. I'm still open about it, but I just don't see her as. I believe that Ross, whatever the fuck his name was, that weird guy at the library who, I figure he probably did that one. Yes, it's Charles. Somehow I did it when I was like negative 25, or how old I would have to be at the time. Yes, literally negative. What? Mm. Well, it's a stupid fucking headset. Everything, or the stupid fucking phone, one of the two. But yeah, okay. Since I'm on the Zodiac at the moment in time, this one actually holds a bit of water to it, and it was a theory that I had a long ass time ago, and now it's become kind of fucking commonplace in this whole shit. Wait, Gray Hughes subscriber count is Charles's body weight. Charles weighs 202 pounds. Thank you very much. Why people? Yeah, I swear to God, people still think I'm fat. I'm not fat, motherfucker. I am under weight that I'm supposed to be at my height. 6'4", 202 pounds. I'm almost certain that's literally like well under the fucking thing. Hell, if I was 6 feet tall, I'd still be under the weight limit. Yeah, yeah, I know you're fucking around. But okay, first of all, I'm gonna put it out there that no, it is not my theory at all that this person is the Zodiac. My theory, at least the person I most believe, I think there's two of them. There's one of them whose parents owned a lot of properties and shit, around Vallejo and other places where it just so happened that the Zodiac murders took quite a bit of stuff going on at the time. And I forget his name. I think it's Richard something or other, or something, something pretty sure. But then there's the other guy who's also named Richard. So both of my suspects are actually Richards. They're dicks. So you'll have to deal with it. Sorry. Then what? I'm so fucking lost. I don't even read the chat. Oh yeah, I'm a tall motherfucker. Uh huh. Why you think I don't scare? I ain't scared of shit, man. These motherfuckers are like, yeah, we'll do this and that, the other that. I'm like, bitch. Excuse me. How's the weather down there, motherfuckers? I ain't afraid of nobody. Shit. But as I was saying, um, harebrained theory. Da 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 da. I mean, at the time, not many people were talking about it until this weird fucking cop came out saying all this weird fucking shit. And personally, I believe he's full of shit. But as far as the Zodiac is concerned, it does make a bit of sense, though. It does. And that is the possibility that Ed Edwards, a now passed away serial killer, was indeed the Zodiac. And I know that sounds crazy. Oh, yeah, my bad. Fucking Carol's fucking getting me off track here. Oh, yeah. My other suspect, the other dick, was Gaikowski. Have you ever seen the Zodiac movie? At the very end, the unnamed creepy guy at the fucking movie theater is Gaikowski. And if you look, and the Zodiac also used to say that he hid his name in his cipher somewhere. And if you look in there, in one of the ciphers, I'm not sure which one it is, though, but it's 100% verified that you can find the nickname Gaik, Gaik, Gaikowski. That's how it's exactly spelled too. At least four letters of it or whatever. Um, we also know that the Zodiac was a movie file and freaked out about all that fucking weird shit and all this other stuff. And we also know that Gaikowski owned the fucking theater. So he also, this is where it starts getting a little creepy. That's why he's my suspect, FYI. Gaikowski followed and stalked a Zodiac survivor all the way to another state and moved there due to them, believe it or not. So there's a whole slap shot of bullshit that literally, man, I'm sorry. Anybody that tells you that it's Arthur Lee Allen, Mark Cohen, you're bullshit. So yeah, my best bet is probably fucking Gaikowski, honestly. And I know, his friend said he was in New York and blah, blah, blah during the time of the killings. His friends also said later on that they fucking lied. So which one are you going to believe? The ones that say they lied or the ones that say they didn't? Because I tell you what, both said the same thing. Want to check out? But yeah, like I said, I'm just killing some time before Dave comes on. So, but yeah, what else is it? Okay, as I was saying, Ed Edwards. Ed Edwards was once again a convicted serial killer who had five or more possible victims that we know of. He had five of that we know of. Those five were a man and a woman, as in a couple. And then the second set were a man and a woman, another couple. And then he killed a single male by himself who was his adopted son for financial issues. By that point, he was already almost 60 something years old. FYI, Ed Edwards also passed away, I believe, natural causes while in the Department of Corrections for that. Now, the reason that those stats, if anybody that knows the Zodiac case, or at least anything like that, it should have jumped out at you real quickly, because who or at least how many confirmed victims do we have of Zodiacs? Zodiac has 5 confirmed victims: a male and a female, and another male and another female, and a solo male in a completely different MO, just in its own way, just like fucking Ed Edwards. And what's weird about it is Ed Edwards was active at the time and had already killed people for 2. For 3, he lived in fucking Vallejo at that exact moment as the fucking Zodiac murders were going on. He used to be in the military. I think he was in the Air Force, which also clicks or some shit, or at least one of the forms of the military he was in. And there's, like I said, it's just a weird kind of thing or whatever. And there was a detective a long time ago that tried to. What you scared of my image for, Carol? Hey, that's my baby picture. You got a problem with that, I say? Don't make me tell Noe on you. I don't have. Look, the only avatars I have set right now, for one, that requires me to go back, reload the avatar, come back in, and yeah, this is too much effort. I'm gonna end up changing my name and everything else soon, anyways. So there will be no more necessary evil. Well, that's not entirely true because there will always be a necessary evil. Oh my God, you and Noe both. What is your infatuation with having a problem with my account names and avatars? Can't I just be evil? So rude. God. See, at least Mandy gets it, man. She's just like, I tell her I'm evil, and she goes, "Yes, and I'm a succubus." I'm like, exactly. Now we're getting somewhere, bro. Like everybody should just take on a demon form and just be happy with it. What's wrong with that? But as I was saying, this weird detective had this crazy ass theory involving Ed Edwards, and it didn't go as far as it went far beyond Edwards' known crimes. Edwards, like the what's this fucking face? The dating game serial killer. I forget his fucking name. He was on a TV show. Ed Edwards was also kind of on a TV show. And if I wasn't on the phone right now, Carol, you walk around with a switchblade, dog. How you gonna act like you're not evil? Nice people don't walk around with fucking switchblades, bruh. Nice people don't need to run around going, "I'm gonna shake your ass, bruh." Uh huh. Yeah, there was an episode about Edwards. I've been talking about that one for a long time. But yeah, apparently this detective or whatever who was retired at the time. See, you could be evil. I can be evil. What's wrong with me being just saying, implying that I definitely could be evil? That's all I'm doing. And technically, I'm not saying I'm evil at all. I'm saying all humans are. That's what the name on my account stands for. Necessary evil means the darkness that lies in the hearts of all humans, because all humans are capable of murder. You may not agree. I don't really care, but you cross enough lines, you dot enough I's, you cross enough T's, and yes, anybody is capable of murder. I will keep fucking with you. Listen, home slash, yo, little switchblade. Okay, girl, 8. I've been stabbed 8 times already with a knife that's 8 times, at least 8 times the size of your little switchblade. You ain't fun to scare me with that, junk. And the only reason she was able to get the drop on me, shit, because I was asleep. So what? I should have knocked her the fuck out. Yeah, I really should have. I wish I had the ability to actually pimp slap a fucking woman like that. God. You ever wake up and there's a fucking big ass, you know, you know when you buy that like brick of knives and shit, that big ass fucking butcher knife. Yeah, that bitch stabbed me 8 times with that. When I woke up, I had that thing 3/4 of the way embedded in my fucking gut. Well, at least I ain't got to worry about you being able to hit any vitals on me because you can't reach my damn neck, so I'm safe. Short shit. If I didn't talk shit, I wouldn't be me. But if it makes you feel better, you can threaten to shoot me. I mean, I've only been shot once, but and let's see, I've been hit by 3 moving vehicles, 2 of which were trucks. I've been had my legs run over by the front end of a semi, and barely had a few scratches on me. I fell out of a moving car when I was like 4, and was covered head and toe with fucking like slashes and scratches and all kinds of other shit. No, I keep a I got a 40 caliber on my waist. I got a 380 fucking on my ankle. That's what's usually and other little toys of destruction because I live in Florida. And you know what our sheriffs tell us in Florida? If somebody comes in our yard or even just outside my gate per se, and all I got to do is say, "Hey, get the fuck off my lawn," and wait 3 seconds. If they don't leave, I'm allowed to open fire on these motherfuckers. And uh, that's one of the plus things about fucking Florida, man. Grady Judd, fucking the sheriff here in my own county is another one of those fucking wannabes. Grady Judds, and they're all like, "Hey, if somebody comes up in your shit and they won't leave, unload on the bitches. They'll learn." Okay. Yeah, our sheriff literally told us he was like, you know, them people that are stopping all the cars and the people driving around this and that, and they're uh, picketing and all that stuff and stopping cars. And we're all like, yeah. He's like, yeah, fuck it, just run 'em over. Like, okay, you heard him, guys. Just run these bitches over. And you'd be amazed how quickly the motherfuckers started moving the day after that. Woo! They stayed on the sidewalk. You can go right ahead, Carol. The address is 4950 Tice, Tice Street, Fort Myers, Florida, 33905. That goes for anybody else that wants to feel froggy. Go ahead and jump. Because if you think that I'm such a nice person that I won't, you don't know me that well. Well, I mean, maybe Carol. I mean, I'd probably be nice, but I won't recognize her, so I probably still might shoot her. I'm not sure. Because I don't know what Carol looks like, so I just assume she's another one of the trolls. So okay. Well, I know for a fact. So you're in Indiana, so at least you won't be here for another day or two. So I'm cool. And I'll just unleash the roosters on you, dog. Because you know I'm getting cocky around here. But would it? No. Well, I offered to give it to you before. You were like, I'm going to write it down. I don't hide who I am. I don't hide where I am. Yeah, it's probably better that way. At least I know which ones to shoot and which ones not to shoot. I mean, we got AR-15s and shit over here, so. And honestly, with my family right down the road, they're pretty fucking nuts. I'm the same one of my family, FYI. If that tells you anything, I am the same one of my family. Okay, think about that. I don't know, Carol. It depends on what you look like. I mean, I'll add it to the collection. I got lots of bitches nudes in here. What you talking about? As long as yeah, no more phone sex. I mean, it's just getting a little weird. No more phone sex. Okay. These bitches that get on the phone with me and they either do one of two things. They either I'm not gonna say the words, or they fall fucking asleep. And I don't know. I'm starting to find both of them kind of insulting. Yeah, because you know damn well once they get off, they're just gonna go to sleep then anyway. So it's like fuck. I'm, I better shut up before I get myself in trouble. But yeah, as I was saying, this fucking former detective loser one be whatever fucking tried to blame Edwards for all these different crimes from the West Memphis Three to the fucking John Benet Ramsey to you name that's happened since and the Zodiac and blah blah blah, all these different fucking crimes. I'd have to look at the list actually. Yeah, there's so much, but it was like I don't think he really implied. I mean, yeah, because the dude was all over the place. Edwards was, so I get that whole thing that he should be investigated for any and every crime, but he's not a pedophile. So yeah, let's not include John Benet Ramsey and stuff like that. Because personally, in my thoughts, you have two theories when it comes to John Benet. You either want to blame the family, which don't make no fucking sense. I don't care what anybody tells me. I will literally, yeah. You think I'm bad about Delphi? Get me on John Benet Ramsey, and I'm like, I'll be here all night, like with facts, blah 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 blah. When people want to blame the family, I'm like, no, no, no. I'm sorry. You're like, oh, the little brother did it. Oh, really? Now, yeah, he was upset because that bitch had his phone and he hit her in the head with a flashlight. Really? Yeah. So here's my question. Uh-huh. Since you were still alive after being smashed in the head with a flashlight, right? Yeah. Who thought it was a good idea to instead of taking this injured child to the hospital, which would have been the wise move if it was a family, right? But instead, pulled the garrote out and decided to choke, let go, choke, let go, choke, let go, and basically molest her at the same time. So that's like it's like, yeah, that's just not flipping for the theory unless you want to toss in the fact that you believe. I mean, I'm not saying nothing about the ransom note. I have my own personal thoughts about the whole ransom note or whatever. Yeah, I do believe it's possible that Patricia Ramsey, I think her name was, wrote it with like her offhand. Sure, but I think there's most likely a much more easier suspect people should be looking into um, in regards to jumping A. Ramsey, and that's the cleaning lady, basically. The cleaning lady was working there, which means she had the inside source of everything in the house, including information, like in regards to that bonus and shit that he got, because she had access to the mail and all that shit. And I think it was around 3 weeks or so to a month or so beforehand that she was supposed to have a deal set up to where she was going to borrow a large lump sum of money off the Ramses. And for whatever reason, it's never been fully fleshed out that I know of. Uh, she did not receive the money, and for whatever happened because of that, she lost her job. And we're talking about a couple of weeks right before fucking John Benet's murder. Right before, like fucking like November or some shit. I mean, that should have been like. That's what I'm saying. The cops are fucking up there, like they fucking up in Indiana. Because to me, that's the main fucking suspect. Because the whole family thing. I mean, sure, it could make sense, but there's kind of like all these different bullshit theories that you have to toss in. Like, okay, the Ramseys are going to think that fucking, well, we're going to get blamed for this, especially if our son hit her in the head with a flashlight, right? So it's common sense. Like, if she's hurt, he's not going to get charged with anything if they just take the kid to the hospital and save her life. So it makes no fucking sense that somebody has to jerk off and fucking choke the kid to death. And also, if you've seen the crime scene photos, which I have, which I don't like, it's one of those crimes that I don't really enjoy the whole looking at the crime scene or whatever, but you got to kind of have to when it comes to the body and all that. But if you look really carefully at the outlines of the ligatures marks on her neck, they kind of loop around each other, but they're slightly off, and it's indicative of like somebody starting to choke her and waiting until she passed out and then letting it go so she could come back to life again and then doing it again and then again and then again. And this is the signs of a sadist. And I'm sorry if you know a little bit about the psychology and all that around sadists and all that. I don't see John Ramsey as being a fucking sadist. So unless you're saying mommy did it while she jerked off, which I don't know, I'm pretty sure that she can't do that. But okay. Uh, it's just yeah, the family just doesn't make any sense. And the cops, they just lied to y'all. I'm sorry if you, the main detective who finally showed up, who actually knew what the fuck he was talking about. The one I think he's passed away now, but he wrote an amazing fucking book on the whole case. But he debunked damn near everything the fucking family said. Or not the family, but the cops. But as far as my theory and what I think happened to John Bonet, I think the landlady or the cleaning lady or whatever got a little upset. Yeah, I'm sorry. The fact that they're not using genetic genealogy and everything else to track down that touch DNA source is a crock of shit. Just fucking do it, like John said. I'm sorry. If he's so guilty and everything else, motherfucker, track down the DNA, verify it as bullshit, and go from there. The fact that they won't, it just says everything fucking about the crime to me. Every fucking thing I need to know. Because I'm sorry, if we really want to catch who the fuck's doing this shit, we track down every single like I say in Delphi all the time. Police 101. If you are unable to identify the suspect or whatever in a crime, you track down everything and anything you can identify first. Now in Delphi, that was the car. If they had done that, I don't want. Yeah, they would have known who Richard Allen was within a couple of weeks. I'm just saying, it's common sense. And if you once you get into a lot of other cases, that's how cops catch people using fingerprints or something else, some other way that they can identify fucking their culprit. And like how they were like, oh, the snow wasn't walked in and blah 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 near the window and rah rah rah, and then they show you a picture, and the Colorado Boulder cops are like, yes, you know, nobody walked through there or we'd see the tracks. But the main detective guy took a picture, scrolled back some, rather than right up on the shit, and then you see that, oh wait, there's like a whole walkway and all this other shit the bad guy could have just went through. And then the whole yeah, how do I put this? Like I said, I think the cleaning lady had something to do with it. I think she found somebody. I'm not sure if she has any criminal connections or anything like that, but she found somebody she knew, and I think the deal was that she was going to have him or them, probably him, kidnap her, JonBenet, get the ransom money, use it for whatever she needed to borrow money in the first place, and safely return JonBenet. Problem solved. But what she didn't realize at the time is that she basically probably hired a fucking pedophile. That's my whole thoughts on the matter. And the dude was like, "Oh, I could have me some fun," and probably didn't mean to kill her in the first place. He just got into it way too much. Which, if you know sadists, that's quite possible. He'd probably be about 5'7" to about 5'10", 5'11", because you have to judge the height from the suitcase in the top of the suitcase to the actual window, and how skinny somebody would have to be to fit in and out of that window. So that's why I said his height, so probably around 5'6" 5'6", 5'7" to like 5'10" ish, maybe 5'11" tops. And because there's about 6 foot of range between that top of that suitcase, where some of John Bonet's hair was actually found in the suitcase. So some people go back and forth with the theory like he was actually going to put her in that fucking thing to get away with her, body or alive, don't know. But I think the plan went awry because she didn't know who she was hiring, basically, and instead of a kidnapping and easy money, it turned into the psych- psychotic murder that it is today. Now, it could also just be an outsider or whatever. I don't know why the mom would have fucking faked that damn ransom note and shit. That's just weird. But I'm still gonna say it's possible she did. But I just don't see why. It's like, oh no, my kid's missing. Oh, I should fake a ransom note just to make sure cops don't think we had anything to do with it. No, I'm just not buying that. Yeah, it just sounds stupid. But yeah. I mean, as long as that's and then with Madeline McCann, we had that one guy who looked really fucking good too. I was hyped up, hoping for something from that, and then it just fucking fell apart. Ugh. Dude was building shrines and shit like a couple days after the girl went missing and stuff. Eesh. But yeah, okay, getting back to my weird theories and shit. Do we go back to the zodiac right now? I mean, technically, I'm still on the zodiac because we're talking about Ed Edwards, so might as well. And then after that, I guess I'll get to the Manson family, and then after that, Dave will probably be about ready to do his thing. So, but yeah, what was it? I already said Palestine possibly was involved. Okay, I already said Edwards, Gaikowski. Well, shit, I think I'm done there. Okay, okay. The other one was the Manson family murders. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you've been around me long enough, you've heard me talking about this fucking theory on many occasions. Technically, there would be possible a Brady violation in the whole court thing and all that because the state withheld some witnesses of the thing or whatnot, and I'm not entirely sure if the defense knew about them or not. But if they did, that's kind of crazy that they wouldn't bring them up there or whatever, because they would have been really important fucking witnesses that didn't know each other but coincide the same information each time, each one of them. I think there was like 5 or 6 of these witnesses, and the witnesses stated that Charles Tex Watson was not a follower or a lackey of fucking Manson. And maybe at times he pretended to be one or whatnot, but you're talking about a man that stole Charlie's drugs. He stole his drug routes. He stole his fucking customers. And last but not least, he stole some of Charlie's girls, which, if the witnesses are correct, we never had the names of the girls identified. And we do know that Tex Watson was found with, I think, basically 2 or 3 girls, and another guy, I think, at one of the scenes came and helped. So, plus the fact that Charlie's like, I told him to write something witchy on the wall. No, no. Every time I hear Charles Manson do one of his fucking rants when it comes to the murders, all I hear is him hyping himself up on basic bullshit. Like I can't believe what the fuck he's saying. You know what I mean? Just like he's saying it to make himself more notorious or whatever, but in fact, he's just it doesn't click. Because anybody that would have come out saying the words helter skelter or whatever back then, even then would have led to Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, and which would have led right to fucking the Manson family, which it did once they actually got around to doing the fucking research because shitty cops. So it becomes, why would Manson say leave something witchy and then him specifically pick and Tex would end up picking something that's so deliberately connecting to the Manson family that it's basically holding up a sign saying, "Come fucking arrest us for murder," right? And then it clicks in your head. Well, if he's trying to hypothetically replace Charlie in every way possible, like in his business, in his pimping, in his to his bitches, to the customers, to the druggies, to all that shit. Well, there's a little problem. To do all that, he has to get rid of fucking Charlie. So wouldn't it make more sense entirely that maybe fucking Tex, who by the way was like a valedictorian and all kinds of shit, in his Texas high school. So we're not talking about some idiot. We're talking about a fucking very intelligent fucking jock, fucking smart motherfucker. If you ever heard any interviews done with Tex Watson, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not saying he's Kipper level, but I'm saying he's like damn near Dennis Rader level as an intelligence, or maybe a Bundy, maybe a little bit lower than Bundy. But yeah. And once put in prison, you're also talking about somebody that was able to manipulate the system so well. They got himself into such an amazing position as a pastor or whatever in the church area of the prison, that he was able to get all sorts of what is it, contraband and all kinds of other stuff and weird foods and all this other shit into the prison using that spot that he had. So the fact that he didn't have a criminal record and all this other shit, but he's able to set all this stuff up perfectly once he gets to prison. I'm sorry. To me, it just shows how highly intelligent the fucking Tex Watson damn sure is. And I think he got in some trouble a few years back or whatever, because I think pretty sure he's still alive now. Um, and finally, he got in trouble after like 40 fucking years of doing whatever the fuck he wanted in prison. And it just didn't click or whatever to me at all. Why would this person, basically, in my opinion, despises fucking Charles Manson? I mean, if you have to be a lackey or a flunky or whatever, or a roadie or whatever, you're supposed to respect and have like genuine awe for the person that that you're doing this stuff for and all this other shit. And that makes perfect sense if Charles Manson was the actual one that ordered them to go do this. But now the women, you can tell what they were under the mentality of somebody that could be easily controlled, because once the trial hit for the Manson family, and Charlie put the swastika and carved it into his forehead and shit, the women followed suit. But guess who did not? Uh-huh. Tex fucking Watson. Tex Watson didn't fucking do the crucifix bullshit. He didn't, or the swastika. He didn't do any of that. It's like I keep saying, man, he's not a fucking follower. He's not the personality that you expect from a follower. He's just not. And yeah, I think uh, my only question is why was it so easy for them? I guess because of the doom buggies, which got the cops to go and raid Spawn Ranch and stuff like that, and which found evidence that led to police learning that it was probably the Manson family that was involved with it. But yeah, I mean, without that kind of shit happening, wouldn't it just if Tex had gotten out of the group and stayed far enough away, that he wouldn't have been blamed for the murders in the first place. I do believe Tex actually left some fingerprints in the blood and all that, since he was the one that wrote "Helter Skelter" on the wall, but or Susan, what's a, what I'm talking about. But yeah. What time is it? Well, yeah, we got about 14 minutes. Trial, huge time in Indy. What are you talking about? Who? Um, I think it's possible that some of them are, but I think that the MK Ultra thing is more likely just a bunch of bullshit. That most of them use as an excuse. Which, if you notice, these same people that blame MK Ultra, which yes, as I am the bona fide serial killer expert, I guess, as close as we get to one. Um, I know exactly who you're all talking about, or at least which ones did and which ones didn't. And if you also notice, each one of these characters have a bullshit theory after bullshit theory after bullshit theory. And yes, I'm talking about the Son of Sam and Wayne Williams and possibly I could. I don't. I'm not sure about Charlie Manson either, but I know he did have a lot of weird churches and cults and shit come in contact with him. You know, like Scientology and the Process fucking church and all that other shit. Yeah, I remember all that shit. Um, but someone like the Unabomber, on the other hand, is definitely somebody I could see myself going, well, that's a maybe right there. The other ones, not so much, because Wayne Williams, you're talking about people that like they give you a bullshit story, and then somebody calls them out on the bullshit story, and then what happens? As soon as that happens, they change their story and it becomes something completely new. And if you notice, the Son of Sam did that, and fucking Charlie really never did that. I just don't think Charlie was like wanted to go along with whatever plans that they had, even if it was a weird cult thing, because he was just like, "Hey, I'm fucking Charles Manson. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want." So that makes sense as in regards to Charlie. But Wayne Williams, I'm sorry, you know damn well he killed quite a few of those victims. At least some of them. I'm not saying all of them, and I'm not saying a large amount, but at least three, five, somewhere in there, he definitely fucking did. He fits that profile so perfectly. It's not even funny. And people want to go blaming the racist and this and that, and it's like, come on, guys. Everybody knows that serial killers tend to aim for their sexual victims that they prefer to have. And if that's the case, are we saying the KKK members had a thing for little black boys? I'm like, I don't think so. Maybe those few adults or whatever happened to be some sort of business deal with the KKK members that went wrong. I'm not saying they're not involved with some of them, but I'm going to tell you flat out that it was probably Wayne Williams and that other guy, the pedophile or whatever guy that also they talk about that never had to serve time. That there's quite a possibility that most of the Atlanta murders came uh, from the KKK and the Wayne Williams, and because Wayne Williams is fucking guilty. Because his story has changed like five, six, seven times, which isn't your typical MK Ultra bullshit. It's literally like I'm gonna throw as much shit at the wall as I can and see what sticks. And that's also how Son of Sam basically operates too. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, well, at first, the demonic dog of his neighbor was the one that told him to kill the people and this and that and the other. And then, was it Roy or whatever? They called him out on his bullshit when he got to the prison or whatever. I think it was. Roy Hazel, or the guy that did Mine Hunters or whatever. But one of them called him out on the bullshit, and they were like, "Bro, we ain't buying that fucking demonic dog bullshit." And Berkowitz actually just smiled and said, "Ah, okay, you know what you're talking about." So it's like, what? Come on. Ooh, I did think of Amazing Theory, and I probably can get through it in like 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that either. Charles Manson did. But to me, it's like we're giving excuses to pieces of shit. And I mean, if there was evidence of it, sure. I mean, but we need more than like homes, because back then these okay, well before MK Ultra, there were similar serial killers being created by places like this, but they're not using any mind altering drugs or anything like that. They're just using how the system runs. What's that one guy who literally, before his execution, was like, "I wish all the world had a single solitary neck just so I could strangle all you motherfuckers." That's what he literally said, basically. and this dude was from like the 40s and shit. This was well before the old LSD hippity gibbity stuff. And I'm not saying either way is not possible. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying how I feel, what makes sense to me and what doesn't. No, I'm not saying it's impossible. Sure, I would never say something like that. But now, like I said, if you want to throw the Unabomber into that mix, okay, okay, now we are getting somewhere. But in reality, Kaczynski himself was probably just one of those freaky guys that couldn't handle shit in his mind and ended up putting a manifesto out and fucking shooting a bunch of stuff up or blowing stuff up. And I heard about this other dumbass theory I heard lately too, that people are trying to say that Kaczynski was the zodiac. I'm like, no, 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 that's dumb. Is it the Nazis used? Okay, uh huh. Well, I mean, technically, didn't use what MK Ultra is, but hypothetically, and I think you're thinking of the Japanese and not the Nazis. Because well, the Nazis did do some of the things that was more than 7351. I think it's called. That were really the ones that like to experiment with stuff. But the Nazis like to do shit with twins and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, I'm a big freak when it comes to world history and World War One, World War Two, and all that other good shit. And yeah, I know the Nazis did all kinds of weird shit, but yeah, the Japanese definitely took the cake. Straight up, plain out and simple. Unit 7351, they would use drugs, they would inject people. Basically, they were your Jeffrey Dahmers of World War II, more or less. Like, I'm going to try all this freaky shit and just see if any of it works. Oh, of course, yeah. Because once they shut down 7351 or whatever, all their paperwork and everything else to give them the pardons and all that shit and new lives, they for the scientists, the Japanese scientists, and some Nazis and shit, they had to turn over the paperwork of all the theories and all that other stuff. But I'm not even sure when was because the main thought I always get with MK Ultra is right that somebody used LSD or whatever and stuff like that, mind altering drugs or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to create a sleeper agent type assassin that using code words or whatever. What is that thing they call it? They call it a specific thing. I forget exactly the term they call it. Whatever. You know what Unit 7351 is? Or is I'm not sure if it's 7351, but I know it's seven something. Yeah, it's the Japanese fucking. No, no, no. These were the Japanese army. Um, were taking victims like the Jewish people and Chinese and all them other kinds of people that they were against. And unlike the Nazis, they were doing all kinds of weird fucking experiments on them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Hoosier. Yeah, when you think of MK Ultra, you think of the Manchurian Candidate, which is like a sleeper cell fucking assassin that you could say a code word to, and they would literally subconsciously click into another mode, go do whatever the hell you wanted them to do, and then come back and then not remember a fucking thing. That's what MK Ultra was all about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, they would use LSD and everything else to try to bring forth these kind of things, which I'm not saying is impossible. I'm just saying, man, these serial killers, it just doesn't match that. It really doesn't. I mean, just okay. Okay, if we think about how many serial killers before and after that used the whole occult, creepy, causing me to kill everybody, blah 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 blah. There's quite a few of them, honestly, that have been going and running around since fucking I don't know the '60s and '70s and shit. Like, okay, for starters, you have of course you could. The Unabomber never said he was part of any kind of creepy group or whatever, so we don't need to include him, even though he's probably the most logical one that seems like could have been because the studies and all that shit were going on at Berkeley and all that stuff back no Harvard or wherever the fuck he was, Stanford, something like that. Yeah, I think it was Stanford. So that makes sense in its own way if you know the history of the whole MK Ultra. Lee Harvey Oswald, sure, sure. That's a. I don't personally. I don't. I kind of go with either like only a certain amount of people can make those shots, and sadly, people may not like to hear this, but yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald was fucking one of them. You're talking about somebody without a scope and all kinds of other shit would literally pick off crows at was it at 500 yards or so with that same exact kind type of gun with no scope. And I think I've seen enough recreations to where it was even very difficult for a lot of experts with firearms and shit to nail those shots in that quick amount of time. But Oswald definitely had the skills and the ability to use it from the military and just sitting at home playing around with his fucking rifle. So, but that I always kind of looked at the yeah, Stanford. Um, I knew it was in California. I was trying to remember which one it was, but I also wonder about the whole how do I put this? The Secret Service might have accidentally killed him, kind of thing. Because that in its own self, it does make a little bit of sense. Because the wounds I saw on, which I've seen his brains and everything else, so I know what I'm talking about when I say this. Um, it doesn't look like rifle wounds as oh, what was the damn gun called? I can't remember the exact name of a gun that Oswald apparently used, but it seemed more indicative of like an AR-15 to me. And before anybody talks, yes, they did have AR-15s even back then. And also, it was one of the two firearms given to every member of the Secret Service. And there's been a long running theory that one of the Secret Service members accidentally, freaking out because of Oswald's shots, ran into the car and accidentally fired the gun off, and that round actually hit um, JFK in the head. I mean, it's just a thought. Was that? I would believe that there was a shot from. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, yeah. Any theory here, I'm not even saying it's what I actually think on these cases. It's just, but I'll usually say exactly what I think is most likely. But in situations like these, you don't know. And what was the other one? Fuck. Oh, this one's good because this is like partially my theory and then partially someone else's theory. They combine together, create a what the fuck. Um, in regards to the serial killer known as Dean Coral, yes. Because I had a similar type of theory right before this podcast came out, and I included these two guys in the whole thing. And once Dean Coral had her, we if you know anything about Dean Coral, he killed like 50 something teenage boys or whatever, using two people as helpers. I can't remember their exact names, but they're probably on the tip of my tongue. But I don't have much time, so I'm kind of trying to fire it off because Dave's probably coming on any second now. But and he used a board that he would handcuff using a handcuff trick and all this other shit. And if that sounds familiar, it's because it is. because there's an exact another serial killer that used the same kind of methods and used the same kind of victimology and all that other shit. And that would be John Wayne Gacy. See, what they called Dean Coral, he was called the Candy Man because his family owned a candy company, right? On the other hand, we all know that Pogo the Clown and everything else, John Wayne Gacy. My thought is, I know I'm finishing it really quick. Give me like a minute. Interrupter. Is that a pedophile ring or whatnot was in the area of Texas and shit like that, where Dean Coral was with his little minions. And once Dean Coral was murdered by his associate, the pedophile ring starts moving away from fucking Texas. And then if you check the dates and all that shit, you start to find other fucking serial killers that have similar victimologies going all the way up to fucking Indiana and then some. Because Herb Baumeister subsequently kind of had similar victims, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and they could have just kept going and kept going. And the podcast themselves did a hell of a lot better of a job than I did because they were actually able to find these pedophile people in this fucking ring in Texas at the time, and then you could track these motherfuckers because they would appear later on in Illinois and shit. No joke. So it's like, for one, a lot of people say that Gacy had help. I'm telling you, he did for sure. Witnesses that on multiple occasions, the ones that did escape Gacy, do remember hearing and seeing other people there. And for two, Gacy, like I said, Gacy used the board, he used the handcuff trick, he used the whole 9 yards. Uh, so it's just like he was paying homage to fucking to Dean Coral. But yeah, if I think of any more, we'll just like I said, I was trying to kill an hour or whatever. So thanks everybody for coming, and everybody run over to Dave's house. Please hit the like, subscribe, and all that other good shit. And if you haven't already subscribed to the new channel that's also broadcasting, um, it's probably under, I think it's Necessary Charles or whatever at the moment in time. It's just a backup we're making. But all right, everybody have a good one. I'll see you over at Dave's. Peace and chicken grease.